Grand Rising. Welcome back to Jay's Grass-Fed Garden. This is Jay, or John, or whatever you want to call me. So, one love wholeness. Let's get rocking. Maybe not rocking, but let's get observing and wander through what is going on in August 4th, Thursday. Today is harvest day. Let's take a quick gander at the shade thermometer. Ooh, we got 72 down here in the shade. I don't know if the humidity gauge works anymore. I think it's just broken at 100. But it could also possibly still be working, and it is very possible that it's a 100% humidity. But obviously it is down here at the ground because it's very wet and moist. So I don't know how accurate the humidity is. It's definitely 72 degrees. 73. I get a little OCD about that. I like to know what the exact temp is. We got this snuck in here. This was like a pea that I planted in the spring. I don't know if it didn't take until recently, but this was cool. I got a late summer pea. I'm gonna save seeds off these, so I'm just letting them dry. And it was cool how they paired with the corn, and they trellised up the corn back in this nice little shade area. I like this little shade spot back here. There's just it's nice back here. This will be the northwest corner. So if we look down this row, these are all of the Jerusalem artichokes, also known as sunchokes. They're in the sunflower family. They're native to North America, and they produce a edible tuber that is a good survival storage crop, and they multiply themselves pretty intensively, so it's hard to eradicate them. Who wouldn't want a survival crop that's edible that multiplies itself pretty nicely, or a lot, each year, just so you have an abundance for the long term. If we take a walk down a little bit, this is the Abenaki flint corn. And I used to come out here and think like, oh wow, the corn's getting pretty tall, like it's pretty cool. I know this is the popcorn's pretty short. I don't even know how the popcorn's gonna do because it got shaded out so much. I spoke on this a little bit in the last video. Oh, the flint corns actually, cobs are starting to fill in a little bit. Same thing with the popcorns too, but they're just so small. They're supposed to be small, but they're like really small because they didn't get enough sun. Yeah, so like I said, I'll reiterate it again, but that corn is really short. It only gets like 3 to 4 feet high. And that obviously can get to like 5 feet high. So yeah, should have planted the popcorn before the flint corn, but you live and you learn. That's just a quick, simple observation that I learned. And basically I'm just explaining I might not get any popcorn, but hopefully we do. And the reason why I planted the Jerusalem artichoke, and I kind of just have this like wall towards the north, is because in the springtime and over the course of the winter, we get very cold, drying winds coming from the north, and that can take away a lot of the moisture within your soil. It can blow away your soil, and it's not good. It's not good for the garden. So we created this wall here. And the idea is that in the wintertime, when these all die, I'm just gonna leave them standing, maybe even the corn. And then that way there's like a dry wall for the winter to resist the wind from being so fierce. The sunflower. I've drove down the road before and seen like sunflower patches on farms, and it's like, oh yeah, sunflowers are tall, and you know, you hear people talk about sunflowers being tall. But when you grow them for yourself and see it, it's like, whoa. Like that, it's just getting up to 10 feet tall, and it's just putting out its flower now, and the stalk is like, you know, stalk is like real thick. We'll get in there and check it out. Yeah, it's pretty thick. The leaves are nice, and the natives said that the sunflower sister is the guardian of the garden. She watches and protects over everything, and I can truly now see why. Intermixed in here with the popcorn and Jerusalem artichoke, there's a tomato that I didn't plant. It's putting on some nice little small fruits. There's a whole bunch of radishes that went to seed in here. I know I've showed this in previous videos, but they're getting, oh, I just picked off the whole thing. I didn't mean to. They're getting their pods, but they're actually maturing their seeds now. Finally, it might almost be time to get some. It's hard to do this one-handed. I'm trying to show y'all on the camera, but if you open up the pod, those little seeds right there, they're still a little bit green, and they got to mature a little bit more. But yes, sorry, I can't focus it with no hands. So radish seed, gonna get some back, that's cool. And then right in here is this was all arugula. I'll let this go to seed too. And this is maturing up nicely. Let me rip off one more pod to show you. See how this one's like a little bit more yellow? You want them to be dried out. You want them to be dried out completely. Or I believe once they get to a certain stage, you can cut down the plant and just bring it in to dry. I'm trying to open this one up for you. There you go. And then there's the seeds. So yeah, and these look pretty good. These are looking ready. I'm gonna just drop those back in there. So yeah, I got a whole bunch of arugula seed I'm gonna get back, and hopefully some radish seed. I know I've been talking about that in all the videos, but it's just cool to keep on showing the progression. And like, look at all these seeds, all these pods got like, there's like over 1,000 seeds right there. So that's really nice to have. And just from, see, this is the radish. It goes to flower. Same thing like many of these, it's called bolting. And then the arugula had went to flower. And when that happens, most people will just cut this out. They'll, boop, oh, it bolted, all right, cut it out. But if you don't cut it out, then it'll put on its seed pods, and you get your seed back. And then the flowers are also really good for all of the native and non-native pollinators. So why would you want to cut that out? Just because you want your garden to look neat? I get the aesthetic point of wanting things to look neat and tidy, but at the same time, nature doesn't do that, you know. Nature does it in its own way. Nature just is naturally divine and organized. So right here, potatoes I had. These were the Baltic Rose. Really good potato, tasted great, sold good, and they were just really big. Like, we're talking big potatoes. I took the 5 biggest ones, planted them, and I'm gonna get a fall harvest of potatoes. Hopefully, one sprouted, so that's good. I'm happy about that. This is the rose gold potato, and I want these ones to be able to store, so I'm letting them go all the way instead of harvesting them for like new potatoes. I want them to form those rough skins so they can store through the winter months. So we still have the rose gold and the big row of German butterball. That's going to be a massive harvest. I'm hoping for over 100 pounds of potatoes for the community and my family for the winter. So moving on to the next one. And then I had some these were the golden potatoes that I got from the grocery store. Organic golden potatoes. I just planted them and they did really good. They put on, I got like 11 pounds back. I planted like a pound. So that was a good yield. Sold those good at market. And then just a little, I'm experimenting with cover crop techniques for the first time. Because the idea of healthy farming is keeping something planted in the soil at all times as much as possible. And if not, keeping it covered no matter what.